Good evening. This is Akashvani Kohima. I'm Jonas Yantan with Evening News. The headlines. Minister P Paiwang Konyak chairs first meeting of Supervisory Board of Assisted Reproductive Technology and Surrogacy Act and Diagnostic Techniques Act. Supreme Court holds that sub-classification within scheduled caste and scheduled tribes is permissible. Lok Sabha MP S. Supongmeren Jamir says Government of India is employing delayed tactics in implementation of the Naga Political Solution. And District Executive Force of Wokha celebrates achievement of Zero FIR pendency. Now the news in detail. The first meeting of the State Supervisory Board of the Assisted Reproductive Technology and Surrogacy Act and Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act was held at Kohima. Chairing the meeting, Minister of Health and Family Welfare P Paiwang Konyak expressed contentment over the reconstitution of the board. He also requested the Department of Health and Family Welfare to take into account the socio-cultural uniqueness of the state while implementing such act. The board member decided the district appropriate authority and chief medical officers will carry out strict monitoring and inspection, especially on the ultrasound clinics, and seek for timely reports as per the provision provided in the Act. The board members decided to put proposals for inclusion and consideration of the in vitro fertilization IVF and intrauterine insemination IUI treatment under Chief Minister's Health Insurance Scheme. Doctors coming from counselling on IVF from outside the state should have temporary registration under the Nagaland Medical Counselling, and also districts should be notified for registration of hospitals performing IUI procedures. The board decided to initiate stern action and penalties against the medical establishment if found violating the Act. The State Supervisory Board also highlighted the need for more sensitization on these acts for public awareness. In a landmark judgment, the Supreme Court today upheld the power of states to sub-classify reserved category groups of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes into different groups based on their backwardness for extending the benefits of reservation. A seven-judge constitution bench headed by Chief Justice of India T.Y. Chandrachud gave the judgment by 6-1 majority, overruling the 2004 E.V. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh judgment of the Apex Court. The 2004 ruling had held that subclassification of SC and STs is contrary to Article 341, which allows the President to prepare the list of SC and STs. Member of Parliament Lok Sabha and President of Nagaland Pradesh Congress Committee NPCC S. Supongmeren Jamir today alleged that Government of India is employing delayed tactics regarding implementation of the Naga Political Solution. In this regard, he called for a unified voice of the Naga people to press for early implementation, highlighting ongoing delays since the agreements made in 2015 and 17 between the central government and the Naga political groups. Addressing a press conference at Congress Bhavan in Kohima, Jamir expressed hope that as the state government has decided to facilitate an early solution by forming an oppositionless government, would assist both parties in reaching a solution to the issue. The MP lamented that instead of implementing the agreed terms, the Government of India has changed interlocutors, which has delayed the process further. He also expressed displeasure over the reimposition of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. He pointed out that lack of seriousness from the ceasefire monitoring groups, increased killings and rampant public taxation. Jamir criticized the state government for proposing an oppositionless government which he claimed undermines democracy. District Executive Force DEF Wokha celebrated the achievement of Zero FIR pendency by completing investigation of all cases registered in the unit. A celebratory event was organized at Superintendent of Police Wokha Conference Hall yesterday to mark the occasion. Addressing the event as special guest, Inspector General of Police Range, Nagaland, Lima Sinap, said dispensing 256 cases is a remarkable and great achievement. He lauded the entire team, led by Superintendent of Police Wokha, Audullah D. Imjan, and all ranks and files of DEF Wokha for setting a new benchmark for efficiency and responsiveness within the unit. To strengthen the justice delivery mechanism, Lima Sinap urged the officers to work in coordination with allied institutions like the district administration and the judiciary. Emphasizing on the new criminal laws, he appealed the officers, especially the officer in charge and investigation officers, to understand the laws and responsibilities and act accordingly in delivering justice fairly. Speaking on the occasion, Additional Deputy Commissioner of Wokha, Furhuse Nyowe, said this event is an encouraging and proud moment for Wokha Police, and this achievement reflects the diligence of all the officers involved in delivering public services efficiently. This news comes to you from Akashvani, Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on News on Air app and YouTube channel AIR News Kohima. The Lok Sabha has taken up the discussion on demands for grants related to the Ministry of Education. Initiating the discussion in the House, Tejasvi Surya of the BJP said the country witnessed significant improvement in the infrastructure and quality of education in the country in the last 10 years. He said several provisions have been made in this year's budget for the capacity building of youths and making them self-reliant. Surya said the budget focuses on generating direct and indirect employment and skill training for 4 crore youth. He said a budget of the Higher Education Department was only 26,750 crore rupees in 2013-14, which is now increased by 71% to over 47,000 crore rupees. Muhammad Javed of Congress highlighted the vacant positions in schools and colleges. He said there are lots of vacant seats in schools and colleges that need to be filled. Javed said 4,80,000 teacher positions in schools are vacant and more than 61,000 in central universities are still unfilled. The Disaster Management Amendment Bill 2024 was introduced into Lok Sabha today by Minister of State for Home, Nityanand Rai. The bill seeks to amend the Disaster Management Act 2005. It is aimed to strengthen the efficient working of the National Disaster Management Authority and the State Disaster Management Authorities. It will empower the authorities to prepare the disaster plan at national level and state level instead of the National Executive Committee and the State Executive Committee. The Disaster Management Act 2005 was enacted to provide for the effective management of disasters. The purpose of the Act was to put in place necessary institutional mechanisms for drawing up and monitoring the implementation of disaster management plans. The one-month summer internship program organized for law students by the Nagaland State Legal Services Authority, NSLSA, culminated today. During a culmination program held at DC Conference Hall in Kohima, NSLSA Member Secretary Victor Sema, NJ, said that the internship program is provided every year for law students to give them a glance of different subject matter that will find it relevant in future practice. He said the purpose of setting up legal services authorities is mandated by the Constitution under the Legal Services Act 1987, where the legal services authorities hierarchically exist from national, state, districts and taluks. Sema added that legal services authorities are set up to create legal awareness and provide legal assistance, especially to uplift the poor and marginalized section of the society. Over 60 law students completed the internship program, which was held from July 1 to August 1. And now 20 News, here are the headlines again. Minister P Paiwang Konyak chairs first meeting of Supervisory Board of Assisted Reproductive Technology and Surrogacy Act and Diagnostic Techniques Act. Supreme Court holds that sub-classification within scheduled caste and scheduled tribes is permissible. Lok Sabha MP S. Supongmeren Jamir says Government of India is employing delayed tactics in implementation of Naga Political Solution. and District Executive Force of Wokha celebrates achievement of Zero FIR pendency. That is all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night